World War II was a global conflict that redefined nations, ideologies, and the future of humanity. From the beaches of Normandy to the islands of the Pacific, the war's battles and strategies are etched into history. Documentaries continue to explore these events, providing new insights and perspectives. The rise of totalitarian regimes. The seeds of World War II were sown in the aftermath of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles left Germany in economic despair, creating fertile ground for Adolf Hitler's rise to power. Meanwhile, militarism in Japan and Italy set the stage for a worldwide conflict. Documentaries like World War II in color vividly depict this period, using colorized footage to bring history to life. The rise of totalitarian regimes was characterized by aggressive expansionist policies and the suppression of political opposition. Hitler's Nazi regime promoted an ideology of racial purity and Aryan supremacy, leading to the systematic persecution of Jews and other minorities. In Japan, militaristic leaders sought to expand their empire through conquest, leading to brutal invasions of China and Southeast Asia. Italy, under Mussolini, aimed to recreate the glory of the Roman Empire through its campaigns in Africa and the Mediterranean. These regimes exploited economic hardships and nationalist sentiments to gain support, ultimately leading the world to the brink of war. Blitzkrieg, the Lightning War. Germany's Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War, was a revolutionary strategy that utilized speed and surprise to devastating effect. Early campaigns in Poland, France, and the Low Countries demonstrated the effectiveness of this approach, catching the Allies off guard and leading to rapid German victories. The World at War series provides a comprehensive look at these early battles and the tactics employed. Blitzkrieg relied on the coordinated use of infantry, tanks, and air power to break through enemy lines and encircle opposing forces. This tactic overwhelmed traditional defensive strategies and allowed German forces to capture large territories quickly. The success of Blitzkrieg in the early years of the war established Germany as a formidable military power and spread fear across Europe. However, the strategy also had its limitations, as seen in the later stages of the war when extended supply lines and resistance from the Allies began to hinder its effectiveness. The Battle of Britain, defending the skies. One of the most critical turning points was the Battle of Britain, where the Royal Air Force defended the UK against the might of the German Luftwaffe. Using innovative radar technology and the bravery of young pilots, Britain withstood months of relentless bombing. This is detailed in documentaries such as World War II. The Last Heroes, focusing on the personal stories of those who lived through these harrowing times. The Battle of Britain marked the first major defeat of Hitler's military forces and demonstrated that air power alone could not win the war. The resilience of the British people, who endured nightly bombings and maintained their morale, was a testament to their determination. The victory also boosted Allied confidence and paved the way for future collaborations, such as the Lend-Lease Act, which provided crucial support to Britain. The battle showcased the importance of technology and intelligence in modern warfare, with radar playing a pivotal role in detecting and intercepting enemy aircraft. Operation Barbarossa, the Eastern Front. In 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest military invasion in history, against the Soviet Union. The brutal fighting on the Eastern Front, marked by massive battles like Stalingrad and Kursk, ultimately turned the tide against the Nazis. The documentary Inside World War II offers personal accounts from soldiers who experienced the relentless combat on the Eastern Front. The invasion aimed to conquer the Soviet Union quickly, but the harsh winter and fierce Soviet resistance thwarted German plans. The Battle of Stalingrad in particular was a turning point, with the Soviet victory marking the beginning of the German retreat. The Eastern Front was characterized by its sheer brutality, with millions of soldiers and civilians perishing in the fighting, starvation, and atrocities. The scale of the conflict on the Eastern Front dwarfed other theaters of war, with entire cities and regions laid to waste. The resilience and sacrifice of the Soviet people played a crucial role in the eventual Allied victory. D-Day, the Normandy invasion. June 1944 marked D-Day, the Allied invasion of Normandy. This massive operation involved meticulous planning and immense bravery, leading to the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi occupation. Documentaries like Day of Days, American Stories of D-Day and World War II in HDD provide a detailed look at the events of that fateful day, using first-hand accounts and rare footage. The success of D-Day was a result of extensive coordination between land, sea, and air forces, involving troops from the United States, Britain, Canada, and other allied nations. The operation faced significant challenges, including rough weather, strong German defenses, and the need for secrecy to ensure the element of surprise. The bravery of the soldiers who stormed the beaches of Normandy, facing intense enemy fire and obstacles, remains a powerful symbol of courage and sacrifice. The invasion opened a new front in the war, leading to the eventual liberation of Paris and the collapse of Nazi control in Western Europe. The Pacific Theater, island hopping. The war in the Pacific was characterized by brutal island hopping campaigns, where Allied forces fought to capture strategic islands from Japanese control. Battles such as Midway, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa were pivotal in weakening Japan's hold in the Pacific. World War II in the Pacific explores these battles, highlighting the strategies and sacrifices involved. The island hopping strategy aimed to bypass heavily fortified Japanese positions and focus on capturing key islands that could serve as bases for further operations. This approach minimized casualties and resources while gradually eroding Japanese defenses. The Battle of Midway was a turning point, with the U.S. Navy achieving a decisive victory that shifted the balance of power in the Pacific. The battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa were among the bloodiest of the war, with fierce fighting and high casualties on both sides. These victories brought Allied forces closer to Japan, setting the stage for the final push towards the Japanese mainland. The Holocaust, a dark chapter. The Holocaust remains one of the most horrific aspects of World War II. The systematic extermination of 6 million Jews and millions of others by the Nazis is explored in documentaries like The Holocaust, which provides a sobering reminder of the atrocities committed. The Holocaust was driven by Nazi ideology, which sought to eliminate perceived racial and political enemies to create a pure Aryan state. Concentration and extermination camps were established across Europe, where victims were subjected to inhumane conditions, forced labor, and mass executions. The world was largely unaware of the full extent of the genocide until the liberation of the camps by Allied forces, revealing the true horror of the Nazi regime. The Nuremberg trials held after the war brought some of the perpetrators to justice, establishing a precedent for international law and human rights. Documentaries on the Holocaust emphasize the importance of remembering and educating future generations to prevent such atrocities from occurring again. The Endgame. From D-Day to Berlin. The final phase of the war saw the Allies advancing towards Berlin from both the west and the east. The Battle of the Bulge, the liberation of concentration camps, and the eventual fall of Berlin marked the end of the Nazi regime. Documentaries like World War II, The Complete History provide a detailed chronicle of these concluding battles. The Battle of the Bulge was Germany's last major offensive on the Western Front, aiming to split Allied forces and capture key ports. Despite initial successes, the Allies ultimately repelled the attack, depleting German resources. As Allied forces pushed into Germany, they discovered the full extent of the Holocaust, liberating concentration camps and exposing Nazi war crimes. The Soviet advance from the east culminated in the Battle of Berlin, with intense urban combat leading to Hitler's suicide and the surrender of German forces. The fall of Berlin marked the end of the war in Europe, but the conflict in the Pacific continued until Japan's surrender in August 1945. And that wraps up our deep dive into the key battles, strategies, and figures of World War II. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more future videos. Remember, history is full of lessons, some serious, some hilarious, so let's keep learning together. See you in the next video.